Hello and welcome back to the renovation series. At the top of my list of things to do this week is overboard the master bedroom ceiling. However, I'm filming this at the end of the week and it's still at the top of the list. So let's see what happened with that. So in order to overboard the ceiling in the master bedroom, I've bought 5 large sheets of plasterboard and now I've got to work out how to get them upstairs because they're massive and they weigh loads. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this. Oh God. I don't know if these are going to fit. Oh no. Ow. Am I just going to end up damaging them? Oh, I've already fucked up the corner. Shit. Oh. Luckily, my genius finally kicked in and I decided to cut the boards downstairs, so I was super prepared and confident to start. Okay, so I've rented a plasterboard lift in order to get the plasterboard on the ceiling. And I've never done this before, so let's just see how it goes, shall we? Do need a drill and some screws, probably. Okay, so once I was actually prepared, I loaded the first board up onto the lift and hoisted it to the ceiling. No, oh my God. This is stressful. This is mega stressful. Clearly this was a natural born talent that I didn't know I had. But then I thought, why is that completely the wrong size? It turned out it was because I've put it the wrong way round. Good start. How the hell did I do that? I want that end over there. You are an idiot. You are an idiot. Okay, well that was a good first test of exactly how not to do it. Down we come. So I lowered the board with as much grace as I'd raised it and then span it around 90 degrees. Right, stop. 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 They just weigh so much more like than they look like they're gonna weigh. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now the board was on the ceiling again. I was back to my decisive. Now I just need to put some screws in, maybe? Confident self. Okay, let's try this. It's definitely gonna go wrong. With a brand new attitude. Positivity. After this start, things could only get better. You know what? First win lines up perfectly with the chalk line. Smash. But this didn't last long. Oh, fuck. Okay. That was not meant to happen. Before starting any big works, I find it's always best to check in with ChatGPT for any final questions and a quick ego boost. How far should the first screw be from the edge?
Yeah, good question. So generally you want to place that first screw about maybe 10 to 13 millimeters, which is roughly half.
Thank you, ChatGPT. Right, let's f up some plasterboard. I am scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. Jokes, I'm super confident. Confident. The first screw's about to go in. Oh God, why is it coming down? Ugh. This was proving pretty unsuccessful, so I tried a different technique. Somebody online told me not to use an impact driver because you can f it up, but I'm now f***ing it up without an impact driver, so. I swapped from my combi drill to the impact driver, but this didn't seem to help. Oh, brilliant, just punched a hole through the plasterboard, brilliant. And I've done it again, right. I've got a feeling this is going to end up with quite a lot of holes in it. Long story short, this just wasn't working. I tried a variety of different screws, combi versus impact, different places on the boards, but nothing was working. Okay, so where we're at. Tried overboarding that first piece and the joist in this very far corner is rotten, which I knew originally, like in episode 3, I said that that one and that one were rotten. But when the roofer came and did the roof, I told him that and I said, can you replace that bit while you're up there? And he said yes, and he basically just put a piece like this long right at the end. It's actually about 1.5 meters of wood that's rotten that needs to come out, because when I was trying to put the board up, the screw would go into it, but there's just absolutely no bite because it literally just disintegrates. What I need to do is cut that piece out and put a new piece in. Just very frustrating. That side's fine. He did a much better job on that side. But basically, I need to cut that last piece of the joist out, put a new piece in, and now I'm just not sure whether I should take the ceiling down, which is just so annoying because I just rented this massive lifter and now I can't use it. Frustrating. I decided to take the ceiling down for a number of reasons. The rotten joist being one of them, but it was also super lumpy, cracked everywhere, and I just thought I was going to get a better finish if I took the ceiling down. I spread a tarpaulin over the floor and covered up the door with a dust sheet, as I've been warned previously that this is basically the messiest thing you can do in a house of this age. Apologies for the quality on this clip. I recorded this on my phone because my camera would have died in the dust. The process was basically just standing in the loft and kicking the ceiling down from above. The aftermath looked like a scene from Pompeii. I spent the next few hours shoveling all of it into rubble bags and taking it downstairs. This was definitely one of the hardest days of the renovation so far. It's the morning after I pulled down the ceiling. I've cleaned everything up yesterday and now I've got to pull all the nails out the ceiling joists. There was well over 1,000 nails in the ceiling joist, so I got to work and started pulling them all out. I've just finished taking all of the nails out of the ceiling joist and I've been around the edge and chipped off any remaining plaster from the old ceiling. So it should pretty much be ready for boarding now, apart from I need to remove this last rotten joist and splice in a new one. So next job is cutting that out. You can see how that is literally just crumbling away. No wonder I couldn't overboard the ceiling in that place. And somebody's just attached. And that was somebody's fix at some point, apparently. 10 out of 10 job. Now that I've cut that out, it might just be easier to just run a whole one. I'm gonna see if I've got any timber downstairs that's big enough. Don't know why I didn't think of that earlier, to be honest. I keep forgetting that I can't get huge long pieces of timber or plasterboard up here. So I'm hoping I'm gonna be able to put it through the bedroom window. Yeah. Just as a little before and after, this was what was in there. And then this is what we've got now. Update on the structural wall, update on the structural wall. Okay, update on the structural wall. Just had some builders come over to talk about this. I've had the structural calculations done and basically I need a 30 centimeter pillar from here inwards, which is about there. Which is fine, that's absolutely, gives me a nice big opening. Happy to do that, blah, blah, blah. But basically this whole extension roof needs redoing. I mean, quite clearly. The thought process is at the moment, if this roof was fine, they would remove a bit of the roof, put the beam up, remove this, and then build it back on. But because this roof is pretty messed up, let's say, it makes sense to just do the whole thing at the same time. So they were saying basically remove remove the roof, remove the wall, rebuild the roof. Obviously, that's how re-roofing works. But basically, the pitch on this roof is quite shallow, and that came up in the survey when I bought the house. I mean, it doesn't leak, but like, it's not great. It's not got enough pitch to it for the tiles that are currently on it. The tiles are all pretty messed up, and they're not actually that expensive. Also, the rafters in here are only 2x3s, so they're really shallow, which means you can't actually get insulation and an air gap in there currently, especially without building regulations. So it makes sense to remove basically the whole roof in here, put deeper rafters in, increase the pitch a little bit, new tiles, new felt, new battens, blah, 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 and then build that up onto the wall. So I think that's what's going to happen. I don't know how much this is going to cost. Probably more than I would like it to. But progress is being made, which is good. And then this wall and this wall. So originally the plan was to remove this bit because you have this sort of like weird little hallway thing, which is like completely irrelevant. So the original plan was remove this bit and keep this bit, but then put the doorway in the middle at the back. So you'd have like your kitchen either side and then doorway in the middle, and then you'll have toilet and utility suite. The builders were like, if you're gonna do that, you might as well just remove this wall and then build a stud wall, because this is all brick. I'd have to build a doorway in that. I don't know how that works, but you'd have to build a doorway and it would be more complicated than building a stud wall. So they said, remove this, and then I can put the stud wall wherever I like, which to be honest will probably be a bit further that way, because that's quite a big space and probably a bit, I mean, it makes more sense to make the kitchen a little bit bigger and still have a good size utility rather than having a massive utility. So that's something else to think about. And basically, I think I might just pull this down, because I've got a skip coming in 2 days' time, and I've got loads of stuff to put in the skip because my van is broken, and I don't really know how much I can fit in a skip. If I can put everything in the skip and I've got space, well, this wall's coming down. The skip arrived, so I spent most of the day clearing the waste from the garden and wheelbarrowing it through the house out to the front. I've spent about 4 or 5 hours filling the skip, and I've got so much more space now. This has literally been overflowing with waste for weeks, so it's nice to have a bit of room to breathe. I've actually already started taking down the walls in the kitchen, however you'll have to tune in next week to see that. If you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button. I've got new videos coming out every week. Bye for now.